Hey everybody, Dr. Rob Silverman here, Proven Health Alternatives. I've got Mr. Tim Anderson here. I'm excited to share some insights with him. He is the creator of Original Strength System. The mission of Original Strength is to spread the hope and strength of movement to everybody in the world. You're going to teach everybody today how to press their reset button, correct?
That is the hope. Yes, sir.
So my question is, what is original strength and how did you come about creating this?
So, original strength is basically the strength we were born with. And I stumbled upon this because I was being a knucklehead and overtraining myself as a personal trainer. Um, and instead of allowing my body to recover and rest, I started learning how to do corrective exercises and stacking that on top of my training. And but I wasn't fixing myself at all. And in fact, I was still getting, my overuse injuries wouldn't go away, but they were occupying all of my attention because, once you hurt, you kind of just focus on it and it just kind of consumes you. So it had all of my attention. And one night I was just feeling kind of sad and depressed. And I asked God to show me how to train to be bulletproof like Superman, because
Mm,
my whole life I've been a big Superman fan.
same here.
And within 2 weeks, I picked up a book on learning disorders in children called Smart Moves by Carla Hannaford. And uh, God just kind of connected the dots for me and showed me how wonderfully designed the human body is. And then that's basically how I discovered original strength.
So original strength, what I love about what you just said is strength we are born with to really tap
Yes.
into our genetic potential. Now, one of the things you said is it feels good to feel good also, which means
Yes.
that you can move well. And that's really funny. I wouldn't call it an epiphany, but I had a moment yesterday. Everybody knows I'm 59, looking at 60 in September, and my schedule is a little hectic. And I had been a little, I guess you could say, I've been a little tired. One of my friends came up to me at a seminar and said, Rob, I don't want to use the word accelerated aging. Now, I am a vain guy. You say that. I mean, it was a shot over the bow. But it's kind of interesting in that yesterday I was dragging in the office and that moment came when I went and, I have a postural disorder and I started to do some exercise and I got up and literally I felt 20 years younger. Like, so there are those push button moments that
Yes.
everybody needs to see. Now, I don't know if the man upstairs was listening and said, Hey, Rob, I got to give you some energy because you need to go fix some people. But original strength. So let me give a definition. Kind of interesting in that I almost went to AI to get it. So this was put together for me. It's a movement-based system designed to restore and optimize the body's functional patterns of mobility, stability, and strength. Before we go any further, let's differentiate mobility, stability, and strength.
Oh man. Okay. So for me, they're all the same thing because they're all expression. Um, so you can't have mobility if you don't have stability, and if you don't have stability, you can't have mobility. And really, so you can't express your true strength potential when you're lacking those. I think the human body is just it's a big expression suit, and all of those qualities of expression dance together as one whole thing. We like to compartmentalize things out and tease things out and look at them separately, but the truth is we build them all at the same time.
Wow. Outstanding. So your original strength is based on the premise that human beings are inherently designed to move well, and that reclaiming these primal movement patterns can help prevent or reverse pain, dysfunction, and physical limitation. Take the baton and run with that.
Yes, sir. So all of us were born with a movement sequence, like your developmental sequence. And that movement program that we came into the world with was designed to help us build our brains, our nervous system, entire body together so that we could live life on 2 feet and, live amazing lives. The thing is we don't ever lose what we're born with. I know you've heard, and especially you, because I'm sure you help your clients with your patients, use it or lose it. Well, that is true in the nervous system. You can lose what you don't use unless you were born with it. If you came into the world with it, it's not yours to lose. It's yours to keep and to live in, right? So we are designed to live in our developmental sequence, which is pretty much just our foundation of movement. We're designed to breathe a certain way. We're
Right.
designed to move our eyes and our head. We're designed for gait pattern where our opposite limbs mirror each other. We are born with these movement programs and our nervous system when we come into the world. And if we engage in those programs, they do for us as adults just what they did for us as children. They help restore our brain, tie our brain back together. They help sharpen our nervous system, and they connect our body back together again. So it's so neat because no matter how old you are, if you engage in your design, your body starts healing and repairing itself and optimizing its ability to move, just like it did when you were a child.
Amazing. When you speak about the central nervous system, chiropractors are central nervous system experts. Interesting in that, as you said, that it will basically remember or be able to have access to everything you were born with, but it also remembers every incident, both good and bad. Like I can't remember at
Yes.
16 that I had the flu. I'm sure I did, but my central nervous system does. It's kind of like muscle memory. It's not really muscle memory, it's central nervous system memory. So trying to segue into the idea of what does it mean to press the reset button?
So when we press reset, all that means is that is engaging in one of those movements, those pre-programmed movements that you were born with. It might be engaging in the way you were designed to breathe. It might be engaging in your eye and head movement, the way you're designed to move your eyes and your head, or to just to have head control. Basically, a lot of people go through the world without head control, where their head is forward, their posture is not right. Anyway, and it can also be engaging in your gait pattern, the way you're designed to. So we are made with four limbs, and it should take four limbs for us to fully engage in our gait pattern. And when we do those things, what happens is for one, we tell the brain that everything is good. I am safe. And when the brain feels like you're safe, it does not have to inhibit your body from moving. So many people are hurting or they're tight or restricted in their mobility and their strength expressions just simply because the brain doesn't feel safe enough to allow them to turn it loose, to express themselves the way they want to, because the brain wants to govern you and protect you. But when we live in our design, the brain's getting all the information that it's
Right.
looking for, and it feels pretty safe. So it lets you move. And that change happens in your body at the speed of your nervous system. So that's why we call it pressing reset. Because
Mm,
the moment you tell your brain you're safe by breathing the way you're designed, your nervous system immediately gives your body feedback and allows it to express itself more optimally.
absolutely. That central nervous system is the spine and the brain. It's funny. When we treat people in the office, we adhere to a very similar philosophy that you do in that we always upregulate the brain. That's the last thing we do. It's kind of like pressing the save button when you work on your laptop.
Oh,
I
that's a
hear
good
my wife
idea.
every time saying, Rob, press the save button, or all the work, all the treatment, all the training you did gets washed away. So big kudos to you. What are your five big resets?
So the five big resets are for us in original strength are breathing the way you were designed, number one, having control of your head, activating your vestibular system through your eye and head control, um, rolling on the floor, learning how to roll and become fluid again, rocking back and forth on your hands and knees, and then crawling on your hands and knees, or just engaging in your gait pattern in general. But we just say crawling.
So your core principles of original strength are breathing, restoring the diaphragm. So that
Yes.
phrenic nerve and breathing well, how critical it is. We were talking about having a guest on, before we came on, and I'm gonna have a guest come on and really talk about the physiological side, the ability to engage the vagus nerve to get that parasympathetic system to calm the person down and have a more rest and digest moment. So, control your breathing. My trainer comes over and I'm trying to deadlift. I'm holding my breath. And he's like, can you breathe, please? Breathing is the quality of serenity, if you will. Head control. Could you go in a little bit more detail about that? Because people think like it's a bobblehead.
So we're born in the world. This is the most amazing thing about the human design to me. Humans are the mammals that are born relatively fairly helpless with a big giant watermelon head. And programmed in all of us is the righting reflex, which is designed to get the child's eyes and head up on the horizon. And what's really neat about that is that the child's head weighs 33% as much as its body does. So like for a 100-pound person, that would be like they have them having a 33-pound head, which is almost unimaginable. So this child with that big giant watermelon head and its writing reflex day in and day out learns head control by getting its eyes and head up on the horizon, right side up world. And every single muscle in his body is, especially his center muscles or his core muscles, are attached to that head being held on the horizon. Um, so a child develops exquisite head control when they're learning how to tie their body together and get up on 2 feet. Adults learn to lose exquisite head control because we get sedentary and then we get in this world where we're looking down or we're always looking at a screen or in the old days I would say maybe a book but
Not
in the new
happening.
days it's a tablet or a screen or whatever. But and we wear glasses and we live inside of our frame of reference, so we don't move our eyes through full range of motion anymore. We don't move our head and our neck through full range of motion anymore. We've gotten really good at being still. But if every single muscle in your body is attached to the movements of your head and you no longer move your head, you're kind of like weakening the reflexive connection throughout your entire body between your head. So regaining head control, being able to hold your eyes and head up on the horizon, being able to move your eyes and head through full range of motion, that really actually helps tie your body together. Not only does it help restore and activate your vestibular system, but all the reflexive connections between your vestibular system and the rest of your body get restored as well.
So, real big takeaway, you're talking about moving your head because most people move their neck.
Yeah, or they don't even control it. They're like you can see a person like they move their neck, but they're really not going into flexion and extension. Like their head's just kind of hanging there. Like, and so I don't know, the human body's amazing at compensating and doing other things.
Great
And
compensation.
it always gives us what we ask it for. So if we don't ask it for anything though, it doesn't give us anything. But if we ask it for mobility and stability and range of motion and the ability to move, it will give us that too. And that's really the easiest way to live your life well and to feel good all the time is just to move and live in your design. And part of that
Absolutely.
is actively, engaging in your eye movement, full, and engaging in your head movement.
Absolutely. Rocking. Why don't you go into a little detail on rocking and cross crawling?
So rocking is like so, and everybody that has ever seen a child on their hands and knees will probably notice that they've seen the child rock back and forth and maybe even laugh and giggle while they're doing it. They're preparing themselves to crawl, whether they end up crawling or not. Rocking is kind of like crawling before you crawl. But what it does is it teaches your stabilizers in your shoulders and your hips how to stabilize the joints so that your movers can move the joints. But it also sets your posture. So because the child has that riding reflex, when it's on its hands and knees, the head is on the horizon. That's where we get our cervical curve and our lumbar curve from. So that's really where we develop our posture as a child. And as an adult, that's where we can return to try to restore our posture. So posture is more of it's an expression. It's more of a reflex. It's not a position that you try to hold. It's a position that you express. And it gives you a great sense of the state of a person's nervous system. Anyway, when we get on our, when we get on
Great.
our hands and when we get on our hands and knees and rock back and forth, we're restoring our posture. We're teaching all of our joints how to dance and play together as one whole body. Like all the major joints start moving together: the shoulders, the knees, the hips, the ankles, the wrist, the pelvis, the spine. They all learn how to dance together. It's like taking all the instruments in the body and making a symphony out of it. And the other thing it does is it soothes your soul and your emotions. And every mother knows this. If your child is crying and you're trying to calm it down, to soothe it, you rock it. And one of the easiest, best ways to soothe an adult and to help regulate their emotions is to get on their hands and knees and rock back and forth. So it's not just good for the body; it's good for your soul.
I love the metaphor of the symphony. It has been stated if we can appreciate that pain is a protective device, it is not a measure of tissue damage. How
It's
does that fit
beautiful.
in with original strength?
Oh my gosh. So that's beautiful. Like, so pain does not mean damage. I like to say that pain may mean, hey, your brain's not feeling safe right now. It maybe it's trying to get your attention to tell you that something's not moving or you're not doing something that maybe you should be doing. So in original strength, we try not to move into pain because pain, again, the brain doesn't feel safe, but we can move up to the edge of it and flirt with it. Like let the brain get comfortable with us just hanging out there. Try to get to know the area. And what's wild is if we get to the edge of pain and we just start breathing in our design, we can sit right up beside pain and breathe the way we're designed to breathe and tell our brain that we're safe. And a lot of times that barrier of pain will slide further away and we'll learn that we can move a little bit more. We have more range of motion, and now our brain feels safe enough to let us to move more and express ourselves more. And over time, if not, for some people it's weird. For some people it's immediate. For other people it just takes more time. But over time, you may find that you're able to push the barrier of pain all the way away, and that your knees don't hurt anymore, your low back doesn't hurt anymore, or whatever was aggravating you is no longer aggravating you because your brain feels safe because you're living in your design and giving it the information it's looking for.
Outstanding. I have another one for you. Trying to get you backing up a little bit, if you will. Rehab versus training. Both rehab and training are progressive overloads. They adhere to the SIDE principle. They both increase strength and they both increase resilience. The only real difference between rehab and training is the essentially higher level of weight or intensity.
If I were looking at from an original strength standpoint or pressing reset, if I were looking at those two, I would say rehab could be considered living in your design so that everything is moving the way it's supposed to, everything's functioning properly, where you're getting rid of your compensations. And again, if we just move in the movement or the movement program we were born with, and have that as our foundation, pretty much everything moves great. Your body can fully express itself. Your brain feels safe. There's no inhibitions placed on the body by the brain. From a training standpoint, once you're moving well, then you can add other qualities to your body that maybe you want to have. Maybe you want to be stronger. Maybe you want to be poetic, like a ballerina in movement, poetic in movement. And so then you can start stacking training on a very solid foundation of reflexive strength or a solid movement foundation. And then all the skill acquisition and the training that you want to add to that becomes easier. And you just have better access to your strength, better access to your flexibility and your mobility. And the crazy thing is, and you already know this, Dr. Rob, but the better you move, the better you think and the better you feel. Mm-hmm. So when you have your foundation of movement and your reflexive strength, you just feel better and think better as a person. So you're more creative. You can solve problems better. Like everything about you functions optimally at that point. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, that's great. That gives a lot of layers to it. It's funny you say about movement, everything is better. We are in the longevity era, the insightful
Yes.
conversation of the last 3 years. And one of the things that I really hear nobody talk about, we all talk about exercise, muscle mass is the longevity organ, Gabriella Lyons, etc. But nobody talks about movement as a critical screen for longevity. I just saw somebody on the internet try and do they call it the longevity test, where you stand on one leg and that one leg, the foot that's up, you have to now try and put your sneaker on and tie the shoelace and do the other side. And I fell on my buttocks trying to do that. So that was a little disconcerting. But I believe that we should put in the idea of screening and movements into our longevity armamentarium.
I do not disagree at all. Like some of the things like the strength test that they're using for longevity have less to do with strength and more to do with the state of your nervous system. Here's the thing. We're in your body right now. Anybody listening to this, you have more than enough strength in your body right now to live your life the way you want to. But what you may not have is access to that strength. Again, because your brain is an inhibition organ. And if it doesn't trust you with all that power you've been given, it's going to govern that power so that you can express it or experience it. But, and this is kind of gross to think about, but you've got enough strength in your body to break your own bones and pull the tendons off your bones. If you were to be electrocuted, that would very well probably happen. You just don't have access to it. So really what we need for longevity, especially if we want to add muscle mass and not like have sarcopenia and all these other things that we're talking about in the longevity space, the better you move, the easier it will be to add that muscle mass and to also do those other things. But again, it's like, so standing on one foot or sitting down and standing up from the floor without having to use your hands is a point of like, well, how like that's a longevity test as well.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a strength involved in that, but really it's the access to the strength that you already have. And I think that's what we're missing is most people, you can splint something or you can address a symptom, but if you don't get to the root of it, then you're leaving a lot on the table. So you can look at somebody and say, well, they can't get up and down from the floor easily. They lack strength. Yes, but really what they lack is the access to their strength. So if you gave them a weight training regimen, that may not be the best thing for them, and it may get them there eventually, but you can get there a whole lot faster, maybe even within a day or three, if you help them press reset and get access to the strength that's already inside of them.
I love that point about accessing your strength, accessing your balance, let's say, accessing your mobility, flexibility. They're all intertwined. So we've made a great longevity statement. I'm going to add it into my presentations. Now, you made a really, really good point also about the idea of training. Everybody has to train. So my question to you is, how often do I have to reset?
Okay, so that's the $1 million question. So if you look at the design of the human body, we're born breathing a certain way, right? So there is an optimal way for us to breathe. Well, how often should we breathe that way? So if we breathe the way we're designed to breathe, we're essentially pressing reset on our nervous system and allowing our body to optimally express itself. And so everybody wants to know, well, how many reps, how many sets, how many days a week, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, well, you're designed to move this way always. You're designed to engage in your movement design always. So technically, every breath you take should be a reset, could be a reset.
Mhm.
Every step you take when you engage in your gait pattern and you're swinging all four limbs together should be a reset. So how often should somebody do it? All day long, every day for the rest of their lives. Like we should go around with our tongue on the roof of our mouth, breathing in and out of our nose. We should be able to fill our lungs up from the bottom to the top with every breath, unless there's a tiger chasing us. We should be able to move our eyes and our head and keep our head level with the horizon all the time. We should be able to engage in all four limbs moving when we walk or run all the time. And in that sense, if you live in your design, you're always pressing reset. Now, short of that, if you just can't do it and you need a regimen, 10 minutes a day, every day will still take advantage of your neuroplasticity
Ah,
and and tie your brain together and create wonderful myelinated neural connections that will not go away, that you'll never lose if you
mhm.
engage in them. And so something as simple as practicing how you're designed to breathe 2 minutes a day, practicing moving your eyes and head 2 minutes a day, practicing rolling on the floor for 2 minutes, rocking on your hands and knees for 2 minutes, and crawling on your hands and knees for 2 minutes, 10 total minutes every single day, and you will move and feel amazing.
Well, I know what everybody's going to say when they see this live. They're going to say, that sounds great, but do you have any examples of these movements, like a video that I can access?
I do. I have, I think, 972 videos on YouTube
So
about
tell them where we'll put it in the show notes. Tell them where they can access it.
if you go to YouTube and search for Original Strength or the Original Strength YouTube page, there are over almost 1,000 videos. Maybe even by the time you see this, there might be 1,000 videos of rolling, crawling, rocking, breathing, head control movements, and then some other fun things.
So let's do a little rapid fire. You know, you're from the South, so I'm going to make you move a little quicker.
All
My New
right,
York isms give me rapid fire. So strap in. Let's get
here
that
we go.
seatbelt tied. Here we go. Goals and benefits. Number one, you want to reclaim your movement patterns.
Yes, and all you have to do to do that is breathe the way you were designed to breathe. Learn how to nasal breathe. Learn how to keep your tongue on the roof. If you just learn to keep your tongue on the roof of your mouth, change your life forever. And then learn how to use your diaphragm to fill your lungs up from the bottom to the top. If you don't get anything out of anything else from today, if you just do that, your life will improve.
So nose breathe, not mouth breathe. because that's the way we were supposed to do it. It filters all the toxins out.
Yes.
When we nose breathe, we expire air appropriately. 70% of the toxins that we expire come through our air, expired air. And put your tongue at the top of your mouth. Outstanding. Restore reflexive strength and stability.
All you have to do for that, again, is live in your design. And again, just a little as 2 minutes a day. It, if you just got on the floor and rock back and forth on your hands and knees for 2 minutes a day, if that's all you did, which is ridiculously easy to do, by the way,
Minutes.
you will restore your reflexive strength. You'll teach your stabilizers how to stabilize your joints. You'll teach your prime movers how to move your joints. You'll reset and restore your posture, and you will soothe your soul. And it's so ridiculously easy that you might even want to do it 2 or 3 more times a day. And then you're pushing 6 minutes a day. Oh my gosh. And it's so easy to do every day. But if you do it, the proof's in the pudding. So you don't just listen to me. Just like if you try it and you do it for 10 days, you're going to feel a difference.
Wonderful.
More than likely. We're all different. Some people's mileage may vary, but more than likely you'll feel a difference.
You will feel different. I can attest to that. Enhanced coordination, mobility, and posture.
Again, so rocking is also really great for that. But another one that is really, really good for coordination, mobility, and posture is crawling on your hands and knees. Just get on your hands and knees and put your eyes and head up on the horizon and crawl. Let your opposite limbs learn how to move together and mirror each other. It's great for your brain, and it's great for connecting your body.
You want to try and reduce chronic pain or compensation patterns, which will lead me into another question.
To reduce chronic pain, I would always start with breathing. Let your body know you're safe. Make sure you're breathing the way you're supposed to breathe, and then and by doing so, you'll let your brain know that you're safe, because you're going to take your nervous system from fight or flight, which is survival mode, down into rest and digest, which you can look at as thrival mode, like where you can thrive. And if your brain's always scared and it's always thinking there's an emergency and there are always alarms and bells and whistles going off, it's going to feel unsafe. And that may be one of the reasons why you're experiencing pain.
Now, in the movement world, there's two screens out there over the last
Okay.
20 years. Functional movement assessment, functional movement screen. They usually adhere to a Super 7, squat, overhead squat, one-legged stance, push-up, core training, etc. How do you compare and contrast with that with what you are doing?
So I actually had the fortune of, well, I used to be a firefighter, and I was on the fitness work team, and my job was actually to conduct the functional movement screen on the entire fire department. And so I got to perform a few hundred functional movement screens on the fire department in my town. And it does take people through those movements, like you said. And what the functional movement screen then does is it scores the movements. And, the higher your score, like 21 is the highest you can get. The higher your score, the better a mover you are. And the lower your score, or the more asymmetrical your score is, then, you kind of go into corrective exercise mode. And the FMS is a great screen. And what Gray Cook has done for the movement community is just amazing.
Right.
But what I learned from doing that, my biggest problem with the FMS was, and it's not a problem because this is a me thing, it's a problem with me. I always felt bad after doing the FMS on my peers because they felt bad. Like, because everybody wants to be perfect, right? Like when you get tested, and if it's a movement thing, I mean, if you tell me the highest I can score is a 21, Timmy wants to score a 21,
Right.
and anything less than a 21, I'm going to be just like, dang it, how can I get to a 21? So I did, again, hundreds of those screens, and sometimes people would just feel bad, that they weren't perfect, or that maybe they had an asymmetry and they just didn't feel good. And so I didn't feel good. And with the OS, we don't score anything. The thing about original strength is no matter how you move, you're moving good. So with original strength, we start from good. And then from there, we just try to reach for better and best being what is optimal for you. So when we do an original strength screen and assessment, there's no score, but what we're doing is we're trying to look at how easily can you access your fundamental developmental movements. Because if you don't have access to those, nothing else matters. So we're just looking for, can you press reset easily? And if you can't, great. We're good. We're going to start from right there, and we're going to teach you how to press reset. which means is maybe we're just going to teach you how to breathe, how help you remember how you're designed to breathe, and we're going to go from there. Um, so that's really the biggest difference. And I learned so much about movement from the FMS and from Gray Cook in his book Movement and stuff. And he talks a lot about the developmental sequence in those as well. So I don't have anything against it. It's just that when I'm looking at people, what I have learned is if I teach them how to press reset, it doesn't matter what their score is because their score instantly changes at the speed of their nervous system. So if somebody's missing something in their developmental sequence and they suddenly start doing it, and they suddenly press the reset button, everything about their body is going to move better and differently than it did 5 seconds before. It is literally like a reset button. Your body responds so fast at the speed of your nervous system, which is over 300 miles per hour. And it doesn't take long for a nerve signal to go from your ankle to your brain and back to your ankle. So it's like that. And so that is the most beautiful, wonderful thing about the human body is that it is capable of change in an instant. It's such an
Millis
amazing design.
Yeah, it's a millisecond. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable how fast it is. And, I posed a question about the screen. I was also trained in the screen, and I think the screen has its positives in that it will really show you what's wrong. I think the problem with the screen was that there's no inter-examiner reliability. So that number system that you talked about, you and I may look at something and I may think it's a 3, you may think it's a 2. So when we communicate with each other about the client patient, we may not be on the same page. That said, I really like what you just said about resetting the nervous system. And just here are 5 basic ideas, 5 basic movements that every child does. And I'll tell you something, if you're an adult and you go home after listening to this podcast and you try and rock or crawl on the ground, it's going to be quite challenging. And I agree with you,
Cool.
breathing, even changing how you breathe. I mean, right now, breath work has grown vastly in our worlds with the taping of the mouth. But here's the big question. My buddy from Geneva, he always says, Rob, I listen to your 45-minute podcast every week. He typically asks for 3 takeaways. We're not going to do that. I'm going to ask you to give him one takeaway right now that will immediately make an impact on his world.
All right. The one takeaway first, know this: you're not designed to be weak, frail, fragile, or broken. Your body is designed to heal and be strong throughout your entire life. If you live to be 123, your body is still designed to be strong and you're still designed to enjoy a quality of life. And one of the easiest things you can do that takes almost zero energy to get there or to put you on your way to there is place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And if you don't know where that is, just swallow and feel where it goes and then do your best to keep it there forever because it makes everything about how you move better.
Fabulous. Could you just go through a few things so everybody could do it? So when we get our comment section, everybody tries it, tell them
Yeah.
how to do it and give them an exercise and walk them through it.
Yeah. So let's look at breathing real quick. So like I said, you want to put your tongue in the roof of your mouth. So if you swallow and feel where your tongue goes, that's pretty much the home position. So keep your tongue there. Now close your lips. And if you want to, take your hands and put them around your waist. For those that you can see, it's like you're standing like Superman, where your thumbs are almost on your kidneys and your forefingers wrapping around up to your belly. And you want to breathe deep down inside your fingers, like you're trying to move your fingers with your breath. So in and out through your nose, tongue's on the roof of your mouth, and you're standing like Superman, and you're trying to move your fingers just gently with your breath. And if you get really good at this, you're just going to feel good. Everything's going to move better. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel calmer, more creative. And this is how you're designed to breathe: in and out through your nose, tongue through your mouth, filling your lungs up from the bottom to the top.
That's it. There's your 2 minutes. Goodness gracious. That really impinged on my day's schedule. Just being a little facetious. Again, everybody, Tim Anderson, creator of Original Strength Systems, author, speaker, movement coach. You've written several books. I love your motto. It feels good to feel good. And you want to help people learn how to feel good in their own body. So I don't need to put on 20 pounds of muscle mass to feel good. I've got
You
it
don't.
all in my central nervous system. It's innate, if you will.
It's your birth given right. Yes.
Fabulous. Love it. Bring it back to the original primal reflexes. Everybody, original strength, Tim Anderson. My name's Dr. Rob Silverman. Always yours in health.